Here's us being able to teach them lesson and how it is to and so being able to do that, the staff at World Embrace and their ability to be able to connect with the kids was amazing. So they got to dance, and we had a good time dancing with the kids. And they knew all the songs. No hymn, no anything. The kids do it. So it was a lot of call response. We had so much fun. So later on here, you get to see the staff jumps in to be able to dance with them. There goes David and Pastor Carey trying to keep up with the kids. And these kids are good at what they do. So. Every praise and worship session was like this. Every time we went to a village, every praise and worship session in the morning when we did praise and worship with the World Embrace staff, it was a full-on experience. There's no sitting there and hiding. It was a full-on get involved, and you felt the spirit.
And now, a few minutes with two of my friends who will soon be yours, the Techie and the Cowboy.
That was the first village that we got to visit. The second village that we got to visit. What's up, everybody? Always great welcome with the kids here in the village. They're just so excited. They're so excited to see us because they know that we're there for them. So to be able to be in the car and get this kind of welcome everywhere it is that we went. I go speak to a lot of youth and kids. I never get this welcome whenever I go to it. Nobody cheering me. Everybody's like this on their phones. And then we have to try and get their attention and keep their attention. There was none of that here, right? No distractions. So it was great being able to get that kind of welcome as it is that we came after I got out. I mean, they're all giving you hugs. And it was such beautiful moments where you feel, and it wasn't fake. It was 100% pure excitement and connect with kids, with people in the village. They just wanted to be able to walk and hold our hands everywhere you went. They would grab a finger and they would be able to walk with you. And it's hard to be able to pick one moment. Of course, heavy lifting was my thing for the whole entire time. So us guys, our job was to be able to carry different stuff as we go. This is one of the biggest trees.
Was that thing empty?
No, I wish it was. It was full of books. So super heavy. Thank you, TW. No, it wasn't empty. This is one of the biggest trees in Uganda, oldest trees in Uganda. It's huge. So you see Dave there, and you see how big the tree is. I couldn't even get the whole thing in the shot without having to back up and lean up. This tree was bigger than any tree I've ever seen in my whole entire life. And down at the bottom is where they did the medical triage. Here's us being able to teach them lesson and how it is to be. And so being able to do that, the staff at World Embrace and their ability to be able to connect with the kids was amazing. So they got to dance, and we had a good time dancing with the kids. And they knew all the songs. No hymn, no anything. The kids do it. So it was a lot of call response. We had so much fun. So later on here, you get to see the staff jumps in to be able to dance with them. There goes David and Pastor Carey trying to keep up with the kids. And these kids are good at what they do. So. Every praise and worship session was like this. Every time we went to a village, every praise and worship session in the morning when we did praise and worship with the World Embrace staff, it was a full-on experience. There's no sitting there and hiding. It was a full-on get involved, and you felt the spirit. So a lot of fun. This is Pastor Mark. He's a goofball. He did a magic trick with them, so he's showing them one magic trick.
2, 3. Oh, there it is. Look.
Everything that they did, right? They were tripping out the fact that he made the toy disappear and wanted him to do it again.
One more time.
Just a little stuff.
It's not there. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here you go. Now watch. 1, 2, 3. Oh! Who's got it? No, it's right there.
So just having fun with the kids and having different moments with them, but it was just pure joy. They were so excited about everything it is that we did. Here's them with their cars. Here's some of the teens I got to hang out with as well, doing their selfie. They were so excited to be able to do that. But again, Jesus love you on all the cars. Shout out to Drew. It was so awesome. Just the cutest little kids. This little girl right here, just so cute, with their cars and with their vehicles. There's one of the 3D printed rattles that he made as well. So he gave those out to the young kids, and they were just so excited with it. All right, so that was the villages, or some of the villages that we did. That was the internally displaced persons camp. So these kids have been through so much trauma, and these people have been through so much trauma. Back whenever if you've ever, like I said, the machine gun preacher, that was kind of northern Uganda. But what was happening is the warlords were going and they were turning these kids into soldiers. And the way that they would break the kids is that they would actually have them kill their own parents, right? So to mentally break them, so that way they can get them to do whatever it is that they want to do, so that they can teach them to even think about that, to even think about the ability of that happening is not fathomable to us. He said that some of the warlords would make them kill their parents and then put them in a soup and make the kids drink this. I mean, it's just horrific things. So this internally displaced camps that they have, IDP camps, internally displaced person camps. The government said, "Hey, we can't protect you. So in order to have the military protect you, we're going to move you all into one little small area." So these huts are like side by side. It'd be equivalent to, I can't even compare it to the projects that we have here in the U.S., but there's all these people that are living there. But the people were trying to survive. So it was either you or me eat or you eat. So I'm going to take the food and I'm going to eat it because that's it. So these were very violent, hostile places to be, because they came in here and started working with the kids and started working with they changed the environment. Like, it would be really dangerous before to go to these places. Now they changed the environment of where it is that these places were. So it's just amazing that they're able, what they've been able to do in these IDP camps. And so that's where we're at. That's the IDP camp. So it's for the kids to be able to sit down and focus and to be able to be a part. That was pretty amazing, right? All right, let me pause for a second before it is that I go into Remand Home, because Wendy's home. All right, so the next place that we got to go, next two places that we got to go are the prisons inside of Gulu, Uganda. We went to two different prisons. We went to the boys' prison and we went to a women's prison. The boys' prison is called the kids' prison. So between ages of 12 and 17, it's called the Remand Home. We couldn't take pictures in there because it's a prison, right? This is a picture that we took outside of the gate. They allowed us to be able to do that. But you want to talk about moving, because these kids have been accused of a crime. Anything from petty crime, like stealing a chicken, all the way up to murder. So you got all these kids together that may or may not be guilty in the same place. They're there for months, some 6 months. She said there's some that's been there almost up to a year, I believe is what she said. And just being accused. They're not even convicted yet. They're waiting to be convicted. So what the remand home does, and this new lady that's over it, the warden, for lack of better words, actually takes them to their court cases, and they live here until it is that they're prosecuted. They're in jail. They can't leave. They're incarcerated. We got to go in. We got to be able to testify to them. We got to be able to play games with them, and they got to be a kid for a little bit. And it's just amazing what it is that I have the list of the stats of what it is that they did. 12 to 17 years old. They go into the remand home weekly, and they interact with these boys to allow them to know that God loves them. They've they have on staff, paid for by World Embrace, a math teacher that goes in and teaches them, an English teacher that goes in and teaches them English. Before, these boys were just in a holding pattern, and you put people in a cage like situation, and they gonna act like animals. I mean, it's been proven in the prisons here. But they got an English and math teacher. There's 124 kids, 140 children out, somewhere around that inside of this. There's only, out of 140 children, there's only like 12 girls. So imagine putting 120 boys in there with 12 girls, and imagine what that was like. There was a whole bunch of bad stuff that was going on. They were only separated by a wall. The boys would hop over the wall, and they were attacking the girl. It was bad. So what they did is they actually created a matron, a lady who it is that's there to be able to watch over and take care of the girls. They moved them to a separate part of the prison. They built out that part of the prison. This is all what World Embrace did. They put 2 cooks in there to cook food that's provided by World Embrace. At least a couple times a week they get a hearty cooked meal with meat, which is never unheard of for these. So what they've done in helping to be able to rehab this facility, working with the warden that's there, is just absolutely mind blowing. And to see these boys have fun for the couple hours we were there. We had a water balloon toss fight. We had all different types of games, but they got to be kids. They got to be kids for a couple hours. They got to not be in prison. They got not to be incarcerated. One of the heartbreaking moments for me was through the gate. They were all kind of facing us, and we were talking. Through the gate, there was a school on the other side, and these kids are let out, and they're running around, they're playing, and they're going home, and these boys are just sitting there. It's almost like a form of torture because they had to watch these kids be free, and they're not free, and they're not even convicted yet. Some of them may not even be guilty of the crime that they had. So he asked me to speak to the kids. I speak to a lot of youth and a lot of kids. But what do you say to these boys who it is that are in prison as young guys in Africa? So I asked the Spirit to move through me, and it told me to remind them that they are children of God. So that's what I told them. I said, no matter your circumstance, no matter what's going on around you, know that you are a child of God. He loves you. He has not abandoned you. He has big things for you. We came all the way from the U.S. here to see you. That's how important you are. He sent us to be able to see you, to tell you that you are a child of God. And I had them repeat it back. I am a child of God. And Jesus loves you. We love you. The people in the U.S. are going to be praying for you and praying for the success that you have in life, and never give up. That's the only thing. I mean, that's what came through my heart and my spirit, to be able to tell them and to be able to see them, interacting with that. That was probably one of my favorite moments of the whole entire thing. Just to be able to take that time to allow them to be children, and to pour into them what the Spirit has on me, and hopefully that resonates with them. So that was the Remand Home. We also went to the women's prison, which doesn't have an age limit. The Remand Home, once they turn 17, they either age out, they've either been convicted or let go, or they age out of the system. The good thing is that the time that they serve in the Remand Home, they could put that towards their sentence. But that was one of my favorite. We went to a women's prison as well. The women were mainly talking to other women, but these prisons, if you're pregnant, you have your baby in prison. The baby up until a certain age is there in prison. So there's babies running around a prison, right? And again, these women are living in really poor conditions when it comes to their staying. But we got a chance to be able to play games with them. The women actually broke off in groups and talked to them and testified to them, while the guys put together all the games. And we got to play games with them, and they got to be human for a couple of hours, right? At the end, very powerful. They did this group thing where they all gathered together. They said, we don't have anything physically to give you, but what we can give you is our love. And they said, we're going to do that in the form of a flower. And they actually had a seed, a little artificial seed, and they all put it together. And then they showed their love, making the flower grow, and they did all hand motions. And then at the end, they gave us their flowers, gave us our flowers. Powerful, super powerful. Hard to be able to explain if you weren't there, but a powerful moment of just being able to see people as who they are and pray for them, and to pray over them. Super amazing. So those are the 2 prisons that we got to visit. This is the cool one. So this is the actual World Embrace. I told you about the big soccer field that they have and the big basketball courts. So he got the warden, she's called the OC, officer in charge, to be able to agree to allow the boys that remand home once a week to be able to come out and to play at Gulu Park. So they get to come out. This is Todd out there teaching them basketball. They get to come out. They get to play soccer. And again, they get to be kids. So World Embrace is doing big things in Gulu, Uganda, to be able to change culture and to change and allow people to be able to experience the love of Christ in real time. So that's really amazing there. This is us at the end. This is the whole World Embrace staff, including the people who work at the lookout, the people who took care of us, the amazing cook. This lady right here is an amazing chef. I say one of the best in the world because I've gotten to eat all over the place and never tasted food like that. I blame her for the 15 pounds that I gained. Not really, because I ate it, but I was going to eat it because it was good, right? But this is the whole entire staff and our crew together that served us the whole entire time. And again, this is World Embrace employing local people. They actually had local art, or local artists and local different people. I got some beads and everything else like that. They actually brought them onto the property so that way we could actually buy stuff for them to take back home. Just another way of them giving back. But they were teaching them how it is to be able to honor each other and not make sure that they're not ripping off the people who it is that are coming in. So just every step of the way, they're teaching them how it is to be able to live a kingdom lifestyle, how it is to be able to live better, and how it is to be able to do better. And that's what's amazing about them. 10 years living in Gulu, Uganda, and then them being on this property, of 5 years of them building, the World Embrace property and the Gulu Park. Just amazing what they've been able to accomplish. I'm so excited for Reynold and Kathy and what it is that they're going to do moving forward. We also got a chance to be able to go on the Nile River on a boating tour of the Nile River. That was absolutely amazing. I love Pastor Mark because after we worked, I mean, we're doing 12-hour days. We're in it. I mean, back to back, because adrenaline, you don't do it, but we actually got to go on the Nile River, even though the Nile River in Egypt is where the Bible stuff took care of Moses being on it. You felt the power of God while you were on the river. And the Nile River, when we look at it on the map, is like a little strip. I mean, you're talking about 300-400 meters wide. It's like a lake, but it's a river. But we got to be able to go to the falls, and that was the part, because Nile River goes from as wide as it gets down to 7 meters wide, and it goes through the water, Murchison Falls. It goes through the waterfall, and to be able to see that kind of power, to be able to see that kind of God's force was one of the best things on the trip. We got to see the hippos. We got to see crocodiles. There's crocodiles on that side. Guess what? TW, what do you think is the most feared animal in all of Africa?
The hippopotamus.
Yeah, it is. I kind of gave it away with the picture, right? The hippopotamus, not the lion.
You actually said it at the beginning of the
I gave away my own joke. Hippo. A lot of the Ugandans are deathly scared of hippos because of the power that they have, right? They're considered the water horses. So they actually can hold their breath for 6 to 8 minutes and walk along the bottom of the river. That's how they cross. They're not good swimmers, right? And they're vegetarians, but they're very territorial. So if you get in their territory, they will use those big old jaws to be able to crunch you and let the alligators finish off the rest. At least that's what the boating guide told us, right? So to be able to be in awe of the hippos. What's so funny about the hippos, you think you see one, and then so as soon as you start getting close, you see bloop, 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 you see all these little eyes and ears pop up out of the water to let you know they're running with the squad. They have a whole squad, right? And so as he's getting close to the hippos, I'm like, bro, again, like the lion, 100x zoom on my phone. I can zoom in. I don't need them. We're in a big boat with all of us, but still. He said, yeah, they can. He said the crocodiles can outswim this boat and how fast they can go, and the hippos could easily turn it over. I'm like, tell us this after the boat tour, not during the boat tour, right? The nature that we saw while we're there. When we were in the center of the Nile, when it was at its widest point, and he kind of turned off the motor and it was peaceful. You really feel connected, right? And you saw all kinds of bird. Uganda has some of in the whole entire world has the most variety of birds. I think is what one of the guys saying, the most variety of birds of any country in the whole entire world. So if you're a bird watcher, Uganda is definitely for you. But there were so many different types of birds, eagles, kinds of things. This picture right here, this is right before you get to the falls. There's this one rock island. At this point, he had to have the boat on full throttle just to be able to keep us going because the water's going against us. And there's every kind of bird that you could think of. You can't really see it in here, inside, all living in this tree. It was like a bird city. It was amazing because they're in the middle of water. There's no predators, no anything that can get out there. There is a one thing called a bird snake, and he was in the water and he caught a fish and he was holding it up, right? And it's a bird. It looks like a snake coming out of the water, but it's a bird. And so it was amazing just to see all God's creations. We also got to see a lot of animals. So my new favorite is the giraffes. I was always a giraffe fan, but seeing them in person that close and how cool they are, and they just looked at you one of them was just staring at me, and I was like, I mean, he's literally 10 feet from the vehicle staring at me, and he's just kind of looking at me, and the guy said he's trying to understand what you're saying. Because I was talking to him, I was like, "Hey, bro, what's going on?" He's looking at me like, "Who are you, and what are you saying to me?" So really cool elephants. This right here is called. Do you remember what I called it, TW? The It was kind of antelope. Now I just
Yeah,
forgot.
the heteralope.
Yeah, I looked it up on Google because I couldn't remember the name of it. The cool thing about this guy right here, with his long face, is that he has a short-term memory. So they said the lions like them because they'll be running from the lion and they'll forget that they're running from the lion and they'll stop. And then they'll see the lion again, they'll run and they'll stop. So they call them the dummy animals, what they were calling them. So, but these guys were cool because we would be driving and they would see us and they would kind of run along and then they would stop running, I guess, because they forgot what they were running for. There was also these huge, so this is taller than me. This is probably about 6 foot tall termite mounds all along the side of the road, all over Africa. What reason why I took a picture of this is everything works in harmony. That was the biggest thing that I got. So the way that these termite mounds work, these huge termite mounds, is that there's a queen in there who runs it all, almost like a beehive, right? But when the queen is getting ready to be able to pass away or gets hurt or gets injured, there's only queen, a king, and the workers. The king succumbs to the queen. Sounds familiar, right? And so when the queen is getting ready to die, you could tell the queen because in her abdomen she has like a white gel substance in her abdomen, right? So you could tell how she looks different because she's a queen. And so one of the workers, I don't know if it's chosen or whatever else, but one of the workers is called to suck the white stuff out of her abdomen and becomes a new queen. And then they have to go and build another mound. And then all of the rodents come and take over the mound and use it as a house because it's waterproof and it's so well built. The whole thing is that everything works together, from the gazelles to the lions, to the insects, to everything, and none of it has to be written out. Like it all just happens the way God that makes it happen. You appreciate God at a different level when you realize that everything is made to work together. And it's hard for me to buy into the two rocks knocking together created all of this, down to the finest detail, to the grass, to the roots, to the trees, to how the water flows, to the waterfalls, to everything else like that. Just seeing nature at this level is crazy. I got to see a lion. This is his prey. He was really, really close. Too close for me. But the whole entire time I was at peace. Even being that close to a lion without bars. The closest I've been to a lion like that is at a zoo. This is not at the zoo. This is raw nature. But you feel such a sense of peace. It's amazing. Seeing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of animals, all living free, all living their best life, all doing their thing, and nobody scripted. Even got to see warthogs, which is cool. Each warthog had a bird on its back, and I asked why is that? Because the bird eats the biting insects and mites that are on the warthog, so they get free meal. He gets them to take off the biting insects, and it works in harmony. So like each warthog has a bird or two. But we were singing Akuna Matata, seeing all the warthogs, and it was just amazing being able to experience Africa at a different level, being able to go, being able to serve. Hold on, TW. Press the start video. There it is. But it was just being able to. I mean, the whole thing was being able to go, to be able to serve, being able to learn, to be able to be open, to be able to listen to when the moments when the Spirit told me to be able to move. Just so appreciative of the whole experience. Never would have imagined myself being there. A lot of times I had to pinch me, and almost like Drew said, I'm just so blessed and honored that he chose me to be able to have this experience. For all the people who it is that donated, and all the people who it is that invested in me going, just know that all the stuff that happened, all the stuff that we were able to accomplish was because of your contributions, right? And I humbly give so much gratitude for you guys believing in the mission, believing in us, believing in what it is that we're doing in Liberia, um, believing in the world embrace and what it is that we're able to do out there. And I give so much gratitude to you, TWU and Fran as well. We're some of the people that invested in me, so thank you guys. But just all the people who it is that made it happen. There's no way I would have been able to raise the amount of money that I was able to raise to go. And now we're talking about taking a different group, like some of the people from Liberia to Uganda, so they can see the vision next year, because we're going to do it again next year, to see the vision and to be able to touch the vision and to be able to see the children's village that we're doing, to be able to renew their spirit like it did mine. And that was the biggest part, was renewing of the spirit. So good stuff, TW.
Well, it
That's
looks
it.
like that you had a very meaningful experience there, and I'm glad that you had the chance to go.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much. I took 1,600 pictures, so to be able to try and combine 1,600 pictures down into that, those were like the highlights. There was so much more that we got to experience while we were
I
there, but
imagine.
those were the highlights of the trip, and I just wanted to share with you guys so that way you can get just a small sense of what it is that we experienced while we were there in Uganda. So thank you, Ranald. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Pastor Mark. His wife was supposed to go, but she ended up having some back issues, so she couldn't go as well. But she arranged everything together. The team that went with me that were absolutely amazing. The staff that was there, and all the people that invested. I just give gratitude for all you guys. Yeah.
Super. Okay. Well, we'll follow that up because I know that we're going to have Drew as one of our guests
Yeah.
coming soon, and we'll go from there. And didn't you also do uh, record a podcast with your
Yes.
hosts?
Yes. So I have also a podcast that we're going to release with Kathy and Reynolds, talking about their mission, what it is that their mission is at World Embrace, and so I'm excited to be able to release that. So we got two more episodes that we'll do that are kind of follow up to this. Kathy and Reynolds first, and then Drew and his mission, and what God has even revealed to him since we've been back from the trip, a couple weeks now. What God has revealed to him about what's moving forward. So I'm excited to continue with this. But thank you for allowing me this space, TW, to kind of share my story and everything I
Oh,
want to
sure.
say.
I'm gonna obviously participate in this, but I'm gonna watch it again, particularly and look closely at the pictures. That looks so fascinating.
Absolutely. All right, guys. With that being said, my name is Alastair Hunt. They call me the Techie.
And I'm T.W. Lawrence, and they call me the Cowboy.
And that's it for this episode of the Techie and the Cowboy. We'll see you guys next time. Let's roll that music.
That's it for this episode. Join us again next time for The Techie and the Cowboy. Hit us up on our website, thetechieandthecowboy.com. Let us know what y'all think.